Good afternoon, everybody. Are you guys still awake? Yes, yes. Are you sure? Everyone in the back awake? Yeah, okay. Cool. Sorry, everyone else got yelled at for standing in, so I'm going to stand in the light also. Okay, it's really hard to be the last speaker. I hope you guys have compassion for me. There are so many amazing people who've already spoken, and obviously they've covered everything I wanted to cover. Every single person who got on stage, I was like, she just stole my lines. He just stole my lines. So I don't really have that much to say. I just wanted to do a quick activity. If I can have you all close your eyes for a minute. Eyes closed, eyes closed. I see some eyes open, eyes closed. Okay, so for 1 minute, can you please imagine that you are a 13-year-old girl in a rural village in India. Your father is a farmer, and he has 3 lakhs in debt, and he talks often about committing suicide. Your mother is ill, so it's your job to take care of your 5 younger siblings. So you've never been to school. So at the age of 13, when your first marriage offer comes along, your parents sadly agree, just thinking it's one less mouth to feed. You're married off to a man who's 35 years old, and his other wife, his first wife, has just passed away. He's an alcoholic, and it's your responsibility to take care of the house. By the age of 16, you have 2 children, and you're the sole earner for the household, doing domestic work in a rural village. Your husband convinces you that you'll make much more money in the city, so he's going to send you with a friend to go work in the city, and he's going to send the kids with you as well. So you leave with his friend to Mumbai, and when you get to Mumbai at the age of 16 with your 2 children, he sells you to a brothel. And from then on, it's your job to sleep with 5 to 10 men every single day while your kids are sleeping under the bed where you're working. Please open your eyes. I'm going to ask you a few questions. And please just by a show of hands, go ahead and respond. So after 6 months, you have the chance to run away from this brothel. And you have 2 options. You know how to do domestic work and you know how to do sex work. So you can go to a place where you do domestic work for about $150 a month, or you can go to a place where you do sex work and earn about $200 a month. Can I see a show of hands of how many people would choose to do sex work for more money to support your kids? Raise your hands. Okay. And how many of you would choose to do domestic work? Yeah, most of you. Okay. So after 6 months, you've been working at this place as a domestic worker, and the person who employs you starts to abuse you and says he's not going to pay you unless you sleep with him. And then you start wondering, wait a second, the money's not coming to me. I'm still having to sleep with people. What is the difference? So you decide to leave that job. You can again choose to go on to domestic work, or this time go on to sex work. Raise your hand if you choose domestic work still. Much fewer. And if you choose sex work this time. Okay. All right. And basically, at the age of 18, after you've been working in this field, you become really ill. And you go to the doctor, and you find out that you have HIV. You get your children tested, and one of your children also has HIV. Now, your cost per month to put your kids through school, to get your medication, your kids' medication, and to feed your family is about $250 a month. And as I said, sex work is going to earn you about $200 a month, and domestic work about $150 a month. Can I please see a show of hands of how many people continue to stay in domestic work? All right, I don't think anyone. And basically, after a couple more months, an NGO comes along, somebody from an NGO comes along and tells you that they would be happy to take care of your children, to feed and clothe and educate and all of those things, but you don't get to live with your kids. Your kids have to go to this NGO. Raise your hand if you were send your kids away to this NGO where you think they might have a better life. Raise your hand. Okay. And raise your hand if you would not want to part with your kids. Yes, okay. This is a very, very, very difficult decision for all sex workers. And I am co-founder of an organization called Kranti, which we are the NGO that approaches sex workers and talks to them about this. We empower girls from Mumbai's red light areas to become agents of social change. Many of the Kranti girls are here. Hello, hello. Raise your hands, Kranti. Awesome. Okay, so these girls are all, we work with 18 girls who are ages 12 to 20. They're either daughters of sex workers, girls who are survivors of trafficking, or girls who are born and raised in Kamatipur red light area. I have to say, just right off the bat, that I think sex workers are amazing, amazing, amazing women who deserve a lot of respect. For everyone out here, Sheetal, especially when you spoke about your mom, what greater sacrifice does a mom make besides becoming a sex worker? Right? I don't think there is a bigger sacrifice. And, part of our journey with these girls is really getting them from a place of being embarrassed about their past and where they're from to being really proud to talk about their mom stories and about where they're from. So I know you're probably wondering, you probably read in this little thing about the fact that I'm from the US and was in the US military, and you're wondering how on earth did she end up here, right? Yes? No? No? If you are wondering, I'm going to tell you. If you're not wondering, I won't tell you. You are wondering. Okay, cool. So basically, I grew up in the US, and everyone thinks that growing up in the US is a perfect life, right? I grew up in a household with a lot of domestic violence. Both of my parents have mental illnesses. My mom has schizophrenia. My dad had bipolar. I also faced abuse as a child, and at a very young age, realized that I was lesbian. So as you can imagine, not the best chemistry for a great childhood, I guess, and I started asking a lot of questions at a very young age as well. And, the biggest question that I had, though, was, what on earth is the purpose of life? There's got to be more to life than this, right? Then everything that people tell you is the purpose to life, to get an education and then go get a job and then go get married and have kids. I could see that my parents had all of that. But this was the life that I was living. I literally, my memories, my youngest childhood memories are of my parents fighting and trying to burn each other with irons. So at the age of 9 or 10, I started exploring about what the purpose of life could possibly be, and read books about every single religion and every single philosophy out there, and really just kind of by the age of 12 had decided, there is no point to life. We're just here randomly on accident, and here we are to suffer, And then, of course, fast forward quite a few years. It's pretty recently, I'd say in the past 4 or 5 years, that I've, turned to meditation and done my own little trek to the Himalayas and everything. But I opened a book once by the Dalai Lama, and there it was on page 3. The purpose of life. Is everyone ready? I'm about to tell you the purpose of life. Is everyone ready? Do you have your pen and papers ready? Yeah? Okay. The purpose of life is to seek and spread happiness. And when I think about that, when you ask why you do everything, why are you guys here today? Because you think you're probably going to learn something or hear something interesting. What are you going to do with that? It's going to make you a little bit happier. Why do you spend time with your friends, your families? Because it gives you happiness. Why do you pursue education? Why do you do anything? Because somehow you think it's going to bring you a little bit closer to happiness, right? And I know that sounds a little bit selfish, to work on your happiness above all others, but I have a question for you. When was the last time that a depressed person made you happy? Probably never, right? So as a person who wants to spread happiness, first of all, you have to work on your own happiness. And I think that, when people give us these titles or attachments of, Robin's done this and this and this and is out saving the world, I think that it really makes me stop and reflect about the fact that when we try to help other people, or we claim we're helping other people, really what we're actually doing is trying to heal ourselves. And Sheetal, thank you for sharing so much of your story. Every single one of my girls really, really deeply understands and connects with you in that story. And I think that healing is a very long-term journey. It doesn't happen overnight. It doesn't happen, in sometimes even in a year or 2 or 3. So this whole concept of happiness, though, really, really redefined for me what we do at Kranti. It used to be, I, of course, as an Indian American, think education is the answer to everything, right? Be a doctor, be an engineer, and life will be fine. But then when you really look around at what our society is pressuring people to do, why do you need to have a good education? So that you can have a nice job. Why do you need a nice job? So that you can have a nice house. Why do you need a nice house? So you can have a nice car and hopefully a nice girlfriend, or, whatever it may be. But do those things actually make us happy? Because I think we all know a lot of people who have plenty of money, who have everything in the world, but they're not happy, and nor are they spreading happiness in the world, right? On the other hand, Professor Desai showed that photo of that woman feeding a crow or a bird, right? With what one little samosa she had, she was still choosing to share that with somebody. And when I saw that photo, it wasn't depressing to me at all. I said, I would rather be that woman who has this much and would choose to share it with a bird than be the person who has, I shouldn't mention names, people who have 27-story houses and choose not to share that with people, So I think, honestly, when we talk about happiness, I think intuitively we all know that we as human beings, our connection to other human beings and to other beings, compassion and gratitude and all these things that have already been covered by all the former speakers, those are the things that really truly make us happy. And I hope that not a single person here believes that education or a degree or Harvard Business School or any of those things are going to make you happy. Because all of those are actually just, when you go to Harvard Business School, you want to get a degree and you want to get a job. Why? So that you can be happy, right? So with the Kranti girls, we've really just tried to cut that whole long, 20-year chain of go study this and go do this and go do this, and then you'll be happy. And let's just start with pursuing happiness, right? So we basically, we have a school, we have a home, a shelter home where we all live together. Unfortunately, yes, I live with 15 teenage girls. You should have compassion for me for that as well. So basically we have a school where we really try to get these girls to think more about what's going to give you happiness. How can you be somebody who's happy, but also somebody who's spreading happiness in the world? So of course, meditation and yoga and all of these things are part of our curriculum, but I really just wanted to share a couple stories because people are always asking, what are your success stories? And if you're from Mumbai, you've probably heard about a couple of our girls. One was Shweta Katti, who was actually the first girl from a red light area ever to study abroad. She's a student in New York and also won a UN Youth Courage Award recently. Another girl, Sheetal, who's really, really redefined my perspective on education because she came to us at 17 and had only studied in 4th and 7th standard. And we tried to put her through 10th, and she cried and cried and cried like every single day. There was just way too much to make up. And I know for a lot of you who are students here, you're probably thinking, how is it possible to do well in life with that little education? But she's also somebody who has survived a lot of abuse. She was actually raised by a hijra sex worker, so she's had a lot of life experiences as well. And basically she would come home every day crying from school, but we also require all of our girls to do 2 extracurricular activities. So she was playing the drums, and she would come home every day and bang on the floor with her sticks for 3 hours. And finally we said, you know what, if the academics aren't working, let's just put that on hold and we'll go kind of pursue the drum part. So we applied to music schools all over India. Nobody would take her. She hasn't passed 10th. She doesn't speak English. She's not, she won't fit in with our students, i.e. she's not upper class. How is this going to work? So then we applied to 4 programs, 2 in the UK and 2 in the US. Everyone accepted her. She ended up going to the US on a scholarship for 9 months and basically did a drum program there. And now she's working in Pune with an organization where she does music therapy using the West African drums, the djembe, for marginalized kids. So working with like children of sex workers, children of migrant laborers, students from Teach for India, Akansha, these kind of schools. But to me, the most important thing is the smile on her face when she does this. When she is drumming and she's with those kids, the smile on her face to me is very representative of the fact that, 10th and 12th and your bachelor's degree and your training in art therapy and music therapy, those things don't matter. All that really matters is the connection that she has with those kids and the happiness that she creates for herself and for all of her other students. I will just mention a couple more girls who are actually sitting here. One is Farah Sheikh. Raise your hand, please. So Farah actually came to us about 1.5 years ago, and she just started teaching. She thought she wanted to be a teacher, so she's been teaching at a school in Bandra where she has 95 students in first standard. But now, the past few months, she's been doing a lot of interviews and working on media stuff for us. So now she thinks she wants to be a journalist. So she's applying to a university now in Dubai, and hopefully will be starting this summer. And then Sandhya Nair. This is Sandhya. She also just finished 12th, born and raised in Kamatipur, lived there her whole life, and then came to Kranti, did 12th, went to San Francisco on a scholarship as well to study English for 6 months and also work at an organization, Girls on the Run, which works with marginalized girls. Now, the thing is, I could go on and on and on about all the success stories that we have, but I would really like to stop and take a moment and ask you to question yourself about how you define success. Because I think all of us, what the world tells us at least, is that it's all about degrees and it's all about, how much money you make and those kind of things. I would encourage you to think a little bit beyond that. Maybe it's about the dreams that you have. Maybe it's about the courage to pursue something that the world doesn't necessarily think is the best path. Maybe it's dropping out of college or dropping out of school. Who knows what success is? So these kind of success stories, I think all of our girls constantly have, but I would like to invite on stage one person to share with you a very different kind of success. Pinky Sheikh.
Hi guys, my name is Pinky Sheikh and I am from Calcutta. Thank you for inviting me here. and I want to begin my story. I'm from Calcutta, and my mom is a sex worker. And जब वो कलकत्ता में रहती है, वो मेरे साथ रहती है, मेरे पापा और मेरे भाई के साथ. जब वो मुंबई आई हमें छोड़ के, तब मैं बहुत छोटी थी, बहुत. मैं रोती थी बहुत दूध पीने के लिए, पर मेरे पापा मुझे दारू पिला के सुला देते थे ताकि मैं उनको परेशान ना करूं. तो मुझे पिला के सुला देते थे, और फिर मम्मी आती थी, फिर दूध पीने के लिए भी मेरी नींद टूट जाती थी, और फिर दूध पीने के लिए भी मन नहीं होता था, तो मैं बाहर जाके खेलती थी. बहुत छोटी थी. और मेरे भाई और मेरे पापा, हम लोग एक घर लिए थे सोनागाची में, शायद सोनागाची में. आई डोंट नो, व्हेन आई वाज स्मॉल आई डिडंट नो एनीथिंग. और मैं जब उधर थी तो मेरे मम्मी और मेरे पापा एक साथ रहते थे, तो मुझे बहुत अच्छा लगता था कि मैं एक साथ मेरे फैमिली के साथ रहूँगी. फिर अचानक मम्मी चली गई मुंबई, क्योंकि लिए उनको पैसा नहीं था पापा के पास भी, और पापा दारू के ठेक में काम करते थे, और उनका भी हालत ख़राब हो गया था, तो घर पे कोई भी कमाता नहीं है. और फिर मम्मी को जाना पड़ा था मुंबई, क्योंकि लिए उनको पैसा लाना था. और फिर मम्मी जब मुंबई आई, हमारे जो घर के ऑनर थे उनने मेरे को बोला था, तुम अभी शादी कर लो, अभी तुम्हारे पास मम्मी भी नहीं है, पापा भी नहीं है, तुम्हारा भाई भी कुछ नहीं बोलेगा, तुम जाके शादी करो, फिर तुम कमा सकती हो. फिर मैंने बोला मेरे को शादी नहीं करना है. फिर उस टाइम मेरे भाई भी थे. फिर मेरे भाई ने उसने बेग किया कि नहीं, मेरी बहन छोटी है, मेरी बहन छोटी उम्र में शादी नहीं कर सकती है. और मैं भी बहुत बेग की, बहुत, पर फिर भी नहीं हुआ मेरे से. फिर मेरे साथ ज़बरदस्ती करने लगे, शादी करवा दिए एक अल्कोहलिक, लंगड़ा, पैरालाइज्ड लड़के के साथ, वो भी मेरे से बड़ा. वो आता था, रोज़ रात को मेरे साथ अब्यूज़ करता था, दारू पी के मारता था, जलाता था. मुझे बुरा लगता था. फिर मैं क्या करूं? मेरे भाई को एक दिन बोला मैंने. फिर भाई बोले मैं मम्मी को बुलाता हूं. फिर मेरा भाई ने बहुत कोशिश किया मम्मी को बुलाने की, पर मम्मी ने आंसर नहीं दी. फिर मम्मी को लगा अभी चलो भाई बच्चे लोग को मिलने आ जाऊं, तो मम्मी आ गई. मम्मी आके बोली हाँ मेरी बेटी किधर है, ढूंढो मेरी बेटी किधर है. तो मैं मेरे नेबर के घर पे थी, मैं पलंग के नीचे छुप गई थी ताकि मेरी मम्मी मुझे मारे नहीं, क्योंकि मैंने बहुत बड़ा गलती कर दी. तो फिर मेरा भाई बोलता है डरना नहीं, फोर्स करना, जो भी है हम देखेंगे. फिर मेरी मम्मी मुझे मारी, बोली तुझे पता है तूने क्या किया? मैंने बोला हाँ क्या किया. फिर मुझे बुरा लगा. फिर मम्मी ने खुद रो के मेरे को हक की, बोली इट्स ओके, तुम छोटी हो, तुम्हें कुछ दिमाग नहीं है, मुझे पता है तुम आगे जाके मेरे लिए बहुत कुछ करोगी. पर नहीं, हम मुंबई आ गए चोरी चुपके, पापा को उधर छोड़ के. मैं, मेरा भाई और मम्मी आ गए. पर मैं मेरे पापा से बहुत प्यार करती थी, बहुत. ईद होती थी ना, तो पापा इतने बंडल करके पैसा लाते थे. ईद में मैं गहना पहनती थी, अच्छे ड्रेस पहनती थी, और सबसे अच्छी डांसर मैं थी. और पता है हम जब मुंबई आए ना, मैं सायरा की मम्मी से मिली. सायरा की मम्मी मेरी फ्रेंड, सायरा मेरी फ्रेंड थी बचपन से, उसकी मम्मी मेरी मम्मी की सहेली थी. हम ऐसे रूम में रहा करते थे कमाटीपुरा में, ग्रैंड रोड. हम ऐसे एक साथ एक पलंग में रहते थे, वो दूसरे पलंग में, मैं तीसरे पलंग में. हम लोग दोनों खेलते थे, मस्ती करते थे, खाते पीते एक साथ रहते थे. फिर एक दिन हम जब मॉर्निंग हुआ, हम बाज़ार गए, चोर बाज़ार. हम कपड़ा खरीदने जा रहे थे, मैं और मेरी मम्मी. फिर सलमा आंटी आके बोलती है कि नहीं अभी तुम्हारी बेटी को इधर नहीं रखना है, क्योंकि ले है ना ये अच्छा जगह नहीं है. तुम्हें पता है ये अच्छा जगह क्यों नहीं है? मुझे पूछती है. मुझे बोला नहीं, आई डोंट नो. तो ठीक है. तो फिर मेरे को डे केयर में लेके गए अपने आप में. फिर उधर 1 साल रही. 1 साल रहने के बाद फिर मम्मी ने उधर से निकाल दिया मुझे. फिर मुझे दूसरे हॉस्टल में डाला, ज्योति कैलाश. वो भी क्रांति जैसा ही था, बहुत अच्छा था, पर क्रांति से थोड़ा कम नीचे, अच्छा नहीं, थोड़ा बैड था. क्योंकि लेना उधर है ना, पढ़ा सेक्स वर्कर के बारे में बोलते भी नहीं थे कुछ, उन लोग का नाम लेना भी नहीं लेना होता था, और मम्मी क्या काम करती थी वो भी नहीं बोलते थे. मैं एक दिन दीदी को पूछने गई मेरी मम्मी क्या काम करती है, वो लोग कुछ बोलते भी नहीं थे। फिर मम्मी वहाँ से निकाल दी, फिर मैं अपने आप में फिर से आई। फिर मेरी वीरा टीचर जो है उनने मेरे को वो अपने आप की टीचर ने क्रांति में लाया, और क्रांति में मैं पहली लड़की हूँ 5 साल से रहती हूँ। और मुझे बहुत खुशी है कि मैं क्रांति में रहती हूँ, क्योंकि लिए मुझे है ना एक थेरेपिस्ट बनना है एनिमल्स के, क्योंकि लिए मुझे एनिमल्स बहुत पसंद है। थैंक यू।
Okay, so the scenario that I started out with in terms of imagining that you're a 13-year-old girl, that you're married off at a very young age, that is all stuff that Pinky has experienced. We also have quite a few girls whose moms have been trafficked here at the age of 9, 10, 11, 12. And the world doesn't necessarily, when you look at success or think about success for yourself, the world doesn't necessarily see Pinky as a success. She's left out a lot of her story. She traveled to the US she's an amazing, amazing dancer. And a couple years ago, she traveled to the US to participate in several dance and music camps and perform in like 30 different cities in the US. Our girls also do a lot of like outreach programs. Basically, they've written a play which we traveled with to the US in 6 different cities and did about 30, 40 performances, including Google and Facebook headquarters last year and stuff. But I think that this whole, like the process and the journey for the girls is really about thinking how you define success for yourself. If a student is never, Pinky also did not mention, and I think it was really amazing for her to be here and listen to all these people talk about dyslexia, because she also has dyslexia and a couple learning disorders and mental health problems. But to us, when we think about success and how we want to measure success, one of the things that we constantly write about is that Pinky, coming from this background in this type of situation, obviously it takes years of therapy and it takes a lot of work. One of the things that we are most incredibly proud of for Pinky is that when she first came to Kranti, her coping mechanism was to cut herself. So she used to, whenever she had problems, cut herself. It's been 1.5 years now that Pinky has not cut herself at all. And to us... And to us, that is a lot about success. And when you think about, if somebody is not going to succeed, a lot of people here have talked about working with people with who are differently abled, people who come from really marginalized backgrounds or from underprivileged backgrounds, and the things that we don't have access to. If you don't have access to school, that's not your fault. Does that make you not a worthwhile human being? If you don't have access to healthcare or to any of these things that the girls and their moms have not had access to, does it make you not as worthwhile of a human being? I think we would all agree that every single human is equal. I think that the one thing that is really incredibly different and exceptional about people, and what we always have that's like in our hands and up to us, is how happy we want to be and how many people we want to make happy. So thank you again, Sheetal. Thank you everyone for all of the stories that you've shared. And everyone left with a really powerful quote. I don't have an exciting quote, but I just want to say I encourage you all to seek your own happiness and spread happiness as much as you can. Thank you.